Welcome to the Talking Single podcast, a podcast featuring 4 single successful Black women living in London. Join us each week as we share our stories, experiences, the highs and lows of navigating life, love, and everything in between. And we do all of this with a good dose of humour and a whole lot of style. I am Rasheeda. I'm your host for today. We hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Talking Single podcast. I'm your girl Rasheeda. Today we'll be talking about dating coaches, especially the Instagram and the YouTube famous ones. As you all know from previous episodes, we've talked about matchmaking, dating coaches, etc., etc. And I guess it's kind of topical for us because as 4 single women on different legs of our journey in singledom or singlehood. I think that's the word, right? Mm-hmm. Well, so hopefully at the end of this episode, we would have unpacked how we feel about these Insta and YouTube famous persons. Do they really have any merit? Do they give value for money? Do they give any solid advice? Or are they just terrible men or boys, or sometimes women actually terrible people in disguise, or just trying to make money off women trying to get good relationship advice? But I'll check in with my girls first. Ribi, Keysha, Crystal, hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. What was the best part of last week?
Best part of last week is I got a bit of sun and things at work moved forward a bit. And I think I've made plans to start interacting with more people because in the UK, the lockdown's getting lifted in stages. So everything's positive.
Yeah. Is that Keysha speak for a date? Is that what I think I'm hearing?
On Thursday. See, I don't think it's a date. I think I'm just going out on a walk. But, I guess it's just the Keysha speaking. So if it's a date, it's a date.
Ribi and Crystal, I need you guys to look outside your window because I think I just saw pigs flying right now. The unromantic, unemotional, stone cold Keysha is going on a date.
Consciously uncoupled.
Yeah.
Is going on a date.
It's a date.
Do you know what? I'm actually happy that it's happening in 2021 because if it happened in 2020, there was too many things that were so different in 2020. I'm not sure how I would have managed that actually.
You couldn't have taken the change, right, Rasheeda?
No.
Wow. Things are literally flying right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you guys? Okay, so you guys, Ribi, what's going on?
So I was just going to say, we look forward to Keysha's response next week.
Oh my God.
But I've had a really good week as well. Work has been really busy, but really good. Okay. I also actually have a date as well. Actually, it's not even my first. It's on my second. It's my 4th date with this guy. So very excited.
I'm dancing.
I'm very excited. Let's see.
Nice.
Crystal,
nice.
It's your turn now. You have to have a date.
I do not have a date. I'm not dating at the moment. My week has been really stressful, but I'm looking forward to the next week. So, yes.
I pray next week is wonderful for you, Crystal.
Yes, I don't have work next week. So.
Good. Absolutely. Thank God for that.
So that's one good thing about next week.
And it's my birthday next week. Can I do a quick shout out to my girl, Ribi?
No.
Just 2 seconds. Thank you, Ribi, for helping me along this, is it online dating journey? You've been very insightful, and you've also pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice. Just remember me in the naming ceremony, and I'll give you the names to put.
Okay, that's way too far ahead. Way too far ahead.
Oh dear. Rasheeda, what about you? Single and ready to mingle. How is the mingling?
Well, so what have I done about that? So I joined, what's it called? Hinge. So I've been talking to different men. Actually, I've been talking to 2 men, actually. One of them is kind of cute. But to be honest, he's Nigerian. Well, I think he claims he was born here, but I'm sorry, but not sorry. His use of certain English words are a bit dodgy, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. He failed the lingo test.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, at least you're mingling.
Yeah, I am mingling. It's quite nice, as in, I mean, I've taken it very, very lightly, just enjoying myself, talking to men, liking and swiping at people's photos. So we'll see how that goes. So two things about this week, actually, before we get into the actual episode. So obviously you guys heard DMX's passing. I mean, that was sad, wasn't it?
Very sad.
Really
very
sad. Really sad.
And I mean, for me, on a personal note, as in, yes, it was after, okay, I'd listened to a few of his songs, but it was after they announced it, then lots of the lyrics were coming out. And you just realize that you could hear his pain in the lyrics. And I'm just thinking, like, how many other people are suffering, or even these celebrities or random people are suffering right under our noses? Then when they die, then you're like, oh, actually, this person was suffering so much.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. He had a very difficult life, and that's the sad part. Because you think when someone has a difficult life, you think maybe at some stage, and I guess he did, at some stage he had a breakthrough, but it's like he struggled through it all to the end, which is really, really sad.
Really sad, yeah.
And there is a friend of mine who moves in the same circles as he does, and he was saying how that he was such a wonderful personality that he would give to anybody. He wasn't, like gangster. He was just a troubled soul. And it's so sad that, unfortunately, now what he will be remembered more of is how he died versus, the music that he gave us, which is sad.
It is sad, yeah. Sad, yeah. Speaking of deaths, obviously, you guys also heard Prince Philip died the same day as DMX, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how, I feel sorry for my sympathy and condolences to the families of DMX and even the Queen and the royal family. But I guess I have one question for you guys. Did you post about Prince Philip's death on your social media or WhatsApp?
No.
Okay. Why not?
No. And I felt so strongly about it because Prince Philip was born in 1940 something, right? Nigeria didn't get independence till 1960. That man was part of our legacy in terms of lack of independence and slavery. And I agree he's an old man, but he is old. He has lived his life. He's made good and bad choices. DMX was a young man of 50 years old, right? He struggled for the Black community. He contributed to the Black community. He was loved. Yes, he had his struggles, but who doesn't? He was not a perfect human being. Neither was Prince Philip. However, I do not understand as Black people why we are celebrating the death of a
99-year-old man.
Honestly, not even celebrating, while we are commiserating over the death of a 90-year-old man, while, not even acknowledging, some people didn't even acknowledge how a young man of 50 contributed so much to our community. And you're doing it either in the same breath or you're not even mentioning DMX at all. I even had somebody come back and tell me, I was like, how can you celebrate Prince Philip as a Black person and not celebrate DMX? He's like, oh, I don't know DMX. And then, but I just found out that he was a drug addict. And I'm like, excuse me?
That's not his single story.
Stone, okay? We all have our struggles. Just because you're born into a family or with friends who never introduced you to drugs, count yourself lucky. These things are just fate and circumstance. How dare you judge such a person? So that's why I feel so strongly about it.
I'm going to bring in a counterpoint. I hear you. I don't have a strong view either way. And I don't have an issue with people that post about Prince Philip's death, because who knows how impacted their lives or not. I don't believe that just because you posted Prince Philip's and you do not know DMX, there's something wrong with you. I don't think there is. The two are, you have to do one and not do the other. I think both have they both need their recognition. They both need their commiseration. People have died. I don't think it's black versus white or old versus young or whatever. Two people have died. I think it's sad because they have contributed in one way or other to people's lives. And I don't want to make it about a black or white issue here. I think people have died. It is sad. I hear what you're saying though, Keysha. I hear that. I respect it. But I also just want to put in a counter view that, people will post for whatever reason they want to post. And it's their right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crystal, what are your thoughts?
I just 1 second. I think black people though should at least acknowledge and understand what Prince Philip left as a legacy in their lives. I think that's my main point to drive home. Yes, people have died, but don't forget what that legacy is. And when you're commiserating for him, just remember that.
But you also just said people don't have a single story, and it works both ways. Yeah,
very true.
Yeah. Crystalite, let's hear your voice.
My thoughts are, I felt sad about DMX because obviously he's 50, he had a really difficult life. While Prince Philip had a good life, he lived a good life, he had the best of the life. And for me, I feel sad for the Queen because they were together for 72 or 76 years. That's her life partner. But may his soul rest in peace. He lived a good life. I think his life needs to be celebrated. But not many will reach that goal. I think if you don't know DMX, go and find out about him. If you want to post Prince Philip, that's your business. But for me, I posted DMX because I know his music and I feel like it was really sad. His story. That's my view.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, let me take it to a lighter note now because I think we've just dived into like deep and heavy stuff.
Too serious.
I know. So next, you guys know things are reopening on Monday.
Yes.
So I'm getting 2 new ear piercings and 2 consultation.
No way. Wow. Rasheeda, every week you do something different, right? Last week you were DIYing and there was doubt about your capability. Now you're body piercing and body arting. Go you.
Yeah. This might sound so corny, but my sister, my brother, and I have chosen 3 matching tattoos. So we're going to get that done. I know. Yeah. So my aunties are going to be foaming at the mouth at the next family reunion. Oh my God, she drew on her skin. Anyway, let's move on. I think we've talked enough about other things, but the top podcast topic.
Before we move on, isn't somebody's birthday coming up soon?
Yeah, I know.
I wonder who it is.
It's not me. Is it you, Ribi?
No, it's not me.
Keysha, is it you?
It's me. No, it's not.
Okay, therefore, hold on. Let me use my calculator. I think it's Crystal's birthday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Crystal.
Thank you. No work next week. I think that's the most exciting part of it.
Nobody should ever be working on their birthday. So
exactly. Yep.
I know, right? Some people do though.
But there's some offices that give birthday holidays on your birthday. Your birthday day off,
which is cool. Anyways, I took the week off, so I'll be chilling.
Nice.
And getting my hair braided and all of those nice
looking
things.
Cute.
Yeah. Ready to reintroduce myself to the world.
Crystalite 2.0 loading.
Crystalite reloaded. And she's going to be, I bet you she's beautiful anyway, but she's going to make herself beautiful-er. Is that a thing?
No. It's more beautiful-er.
Okay, more beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We should send, what we should give her? We should give her a watch out sign. Because people need to watch out. Otherwise, there'll be accidents as she's walking.
She needs an orange.
Like that Joy Girl
the triangle.
Joy Girl, you can help the looks you get. And
oh dear, we just lost a lot of audience members now because of your singing. Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Rasheeda, please bring us back to order.
I don't even know. I myself have even gone down the
rabbit hole
deviation myself. Anyway, order in this episode. I'm the queen of this episode, and I'm laying on the law.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
My power is intoxicating. I was just intoxicated by that command I put down. Anyway, so let's talk about these Insta and YouTube famous coaches. I mean, do you guys know any of them? Do you follow them? Have you been to any events and etc. etc.?
Yeah, I am a big fan of Matthew Hussey. He's the only one I follow really, and he's the only one I have been to his conference. I think I invited you, Rasheeda, and Rasheeda brought Keysha along, but that wasn't him. That was his dad, actually. Yeah. And then he had a conference a few years back that was really cheap, like £20. And honestly, it blew me away. Like, he is so good. He's a really good. He does not have a beard. He was a really, he is a really good speaker. And he's the only one I follow. I will 100% go to his conference if it's not too expensive. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ribi?
I actually don't. The only one I actually looked at was Matthew Hussey. After Crystal mentioned him, I have to be honest, I've never really been a fan of dating coaches. So
Keysha?
don't really follow them.
I don't really follow them, but you know where I stand on dating, so that's not really surprising.
No, I don't know where you stand on dating, because last year you would have been stone cold, consciously uncoupled Keysha, but this 2021 Keysha is, I love him, I'm going on a date and butterflies kind of thing. I don't know where you stand on that. Thank you very much, lady.
Rasheeda, I've added salt, pepper, and onions into the gift. Okay.
But honestly, is that not it? Am I just being? Actually, do you know what? Let's focus. I'm the leader of this episode, and we're not digressing any longer.
Okay.
I do not have any online dating coaches. That's a simple answer.
So I mean, for me, I've seen a few, like Matthew Hussey, yes, Crystal and Keysha. We went to his dad's event, and yeah, I've heard of him. Then there was a guy, one particular one a few years ago, Julian Blanc. And the ones I would name at the moment would be the ones that have come into the spotlight for somewhat like less than good reasons. So Julian Blanc is supposed to be this, was he a pickup artist for men? So he was going to come for a conference in the UK in 2014. And so many people wrote petitions, and they actually prevented him from coming into the UK. There's another one, I believe his name is Russell Hatley. He also has like terrible videos encouraging people how to pick up women, how to convince your girlfriends to do a threesome, and it's just less than. Yeah, so he has it. Yeah, so I went on. This was all through research. He has videos on how to convince your girlfriend to have a threesome, how to escape the friend zone. There was even another one, I forget his name, in Australia, that a bookshop had to put out a notice. They realized that this dating coach was sending its participants to that bookstore to try out the methods to pick up people in the bookstore.
Oh,
so
wow.
So the bookstore found out, and then they had to put up a notice that we realized this is happening, just so beware, etc., etc. So clearly there is a market for dating coaches, good and bad ones. There are really good ones, I must admit, that would help you be your best self. But there are some, and those are the ones I think I want to talk about in this episode, that I feel like are capitalizing on women's or even men's need for relationships and wanting to be a better person. So they just come up with this amazing personality and they seem to have all the answers. But I feel like when we deep dive under the hood, you just realize, I feel, in my humble opinion, is that most of them are not there just to help people. They're just trying to make the coins. there was another one as well. JP Cummins, I believe that's his name. He was a self-help doctor or blah, blah, blah. I forget what he claimed to be. But a few months before his wedding, his fiance broke off the engagement. And on their wedding day, she published a blog post. He had apparently been involved with multiple women, and the post went viral. And after that, cut long story short, he lost his job. Then he put up a blog post how his life was ruined by the one lie, or the infidelity. And because her blog post went viral, nobody else would hire him. Woe is me, and na na na. And I'm just like, okay, I'm happy for you, but you sold yourself as a relationship self-help. I'm a model man, but guess what? You were caught out doing that same thing you were saying other men or women were doing. And now your life is over and you're upset about it. Which is, yeah. Anyway, which will lead me to my favorite one. Oh God, not my favorite one, actually. Derek Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you my first problem with Derek Jackson. And it seems like a minor thing, but it's such a big thing. Why on earth does he spell his name as Jaxn?
Oh my God.
That annoys me so much. And I was listening to The Breakfast Club, I think, and the guy was like, actually, it's not a bad thing that he's spelled his name that way, because he's distanced himself from all the good Jacksons anyway, so he's not one of them. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Well, did you guys know of him before the story broke?
Nope.
No, I didn't.
Not on my radar. No.
Yeah. So he came on one of my Insta feed, I think, a few weeks before. So I just looked through it. But as always, I just said, oh, yeah, he's good looking. And I just closed the page. Anyway, so Crystal, let me start with you. What did you feel? I mean, obviously, we know the backstory where he was involved with multiple women. He had lots of videos saying how to spot a cheater, how to treat your woman like a queen, how to elevate her, la 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 la. So, Crystal, what did you feel about his explanation video and how he brought his wife onto the video? What do you think about that?
Derek Jackson. He shouldn't have brought his wife on, first of all. I don't know what that video was, just weird. Even if you didn't know the background, if you didn't know what was going on, the video was just honestly weird. So I don't think he should have brought his wife onto the video. His explanation was weak as hell. It was just, everything was just phony. I even watched, because I went down a rabbit hole with this, I even watched a body language expert explaining everything that he was, trying to analyze the behavior, and a lot was off with that video. But you see, I am of the belief that nobody is a god, nobody is an angel. We are all human and we all make mistakes. But with Derek Jackson, the reason he has gone viral is because he had no mercy for people who made the same mistakes he did. And when you're a judgmental person, when you fall, people will stamp on you. And that's what has happened to him. Because all the men are just coming out and going, oh, this dude that was abusing us and saying this and that and that. And that's the problem.
My friend was like, her husband was laughing so much that he fell off the sofa, because she used to use Derek Jackson's videos. When she's less than happy with him, she'd find a Derek Jackson video and send it to him. So of course, when this came out, her husband was like, look at your hero. Anyway, Ribi, did you see his wife's response?
So I didn't watch the video. I just read a couple of articles about it.
Okay.
So my understanding is, and you guys check me if I'm wrong, and then I'll tell you what I think. She said that when she found out, she left, and then she noticed a change in his behavior and all of that, and nobody's above mistakes and biblical story. So she went back. and they're living on grace. That's my understanding of her justification, right?
Yeah.
So what do I think? Look, so I'm a big believer that once a cheat, always a cheat, right? Yeah. So if a guy cheats, and the way it's not once, it's not twice, it was before they were married, it was after he was married, that is symptomatic of somebody who will always be unfaithful. And can you trust that person? So from that perspective, he may never cheat again. I don't know, but the trust for me is broken. And why would I want to put myself through that? So I don't know that I understand her justification of wanting to be with someone that she cannot, that in that situation, I wouldn't be able to trust. So I honestly don't get it. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in giving people a second chance. But why would you want to put yourself through that kind of torture and stress publicly as well? Somebody who has led so many women down the garden path and is fallible. I don't get it. I do not get it. Is she brainwashed? Perhaps. Or it could also be, and I don't really like being cynical, is she trying to live maintain a facade, a life that she's been used to and doesn't want to move away from it? I don't know. Because sometimes you find that people stay in relationships to maintain the status quo because it's easier than going by themselves. I struggle though, personally.
Keysha, what are your thoughts on both his response, his initial apology video, his reaction to the apology video, and his wife's kind of body language in all those in the video? Because from what I remember, which what actually happened, when he was holding her hand, he held her hand hostage in that first video and was referring to himself in the third person. What were your thoughts on all of that?
So I actually never watched the videos myself.
Really?
Neither did I watch the response videos, because I do try and keep myself away from those things sometimes. However, I did hear...
She doesn't involve herself in all the tea.
Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I do catch the tea, but this time around, I stayed away from it. I'm probably because I was just like, this is just another cheating man, and what's new under the sun? Okay, like this is just nothing new. My only takeaway is for her as the wife. I do not know her. I don't even know anything about their relationship other than what I've read online. But the bonnet and her in the night dress sort of struck me as a woman who needs friends, who needs to get closer.
She was wearing the bonnet of salvation.
Pardon?
It was the bonnet of salvation.
Yeah, I heard all about that, but all I'm saying is, as women,
and the slippers of purity.
as women,
and the belt of dedication.
Oh my God, let me finish.
and the breastplate of
finish.
Of commitment.
Oh my God.
Please continue.
As women, which I'm saying for the fourth time, we need to surround ourselves with people who love us. We should not, our only source of love should not be our spouses or our boyfriends and girlfriends and so on and so forth. Surround yourself with other people who love you.
Yeah.
So
but
that
the challenge...
let me finish. You have a little bit of a balanced view outside of whatever is going on within your relationship. Yeah. And I think whatever, because we don't know what's going on. So whatever that view is, the people who you have surrounded yourself with will be able to advise better. Exactly. And rather than, the rest of us on the internet. And hopefully they will steer her in a path that will let her continue to love herself, because I don't know if she does now or doesn't, continue to love herself and also love herself in a better way, so that she always has some support to fall back on if she needs it. And I think that's my takeaway from that. Always remember to surround yourself with love and other sources, other voices that can provide you with a little bit of perspective. That way, when you do experience difficulties in life, you have people to go and talk to for a bit of a balanced view.
Yeah.
And then you can take your own actions from that. And that's my takeaway.
So I have two responses to that. The first one is about him bringing her onto his page to explain what happened. I feel like that was unfair on her. He put her in the firing line, and he did not protect. If he truly loved her, he would have protected her from the internet bullies and the exposure, because people on the internet are terrible. He knew he had done something wrong, so he brought her along to kind of shield himself. So in my opinion, he used her as a human shield. And
considering he never
exactly
brought her on ever before,
exactly,
that was totally odd and off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what really annoyed me, because I went on his page and I looked through all his videos. I don't even think he mentioned the word ma, not if talk of married. And the second part, I think, is with her. As you said, Keysha, you have to surround yourself with people that would support you. But don't you think if someone ends up with a narcissistic person, in my opinion, like Derek Jackson, because I think he's a narcissist, because he was referring to himself in third person, that he would, or no, let me not say Derek, because I don't know about their relationship, but it could be these terrible narcissistic partners will isolate the women or men from their friends and their support systems in order to dominate them completely. And once they're dominated and isolated from all their support system, he can do and say whatever he wants to. Anyway, moving on from all of that, as in, there are just so many. I have so many feelings about Derek Jackson and the likes, because there's so many of them that seem to be on the internet, and they're these very good-looking, well-spoken men with amazing bodies, with tight shirts, and they just seem so good-looking. And there's this package that I think women are drawn to. I don't know about you guys, because when I've looked at most of the Insta and YouTube famous ones, there's none of them that is fat, or none of them that's ugly, or can't speak English properly, or don't dress properly. They've all packaged themselves to have this amazing outward shell that women just seem to get drawn to, and women just lap up the content like hell. And these men seem to just be making money off the merchandise, the tours, and the books. I don't know how good the books are, honestly, because sometimes, even, I don't know if you guys have seen all those books, when you look at the covers of the books, you're just like, this cover looks whack. So I can only imagine what's inside it, but who knows?
Never judge a book by its cover.
Oh my God. Sometimes, but honestly, when you see those covers, sometimes you're just like, what the hell is this mess? Really? What the hell is this?
I think they feel a need. And if women, the number of times the woman probably needs to hear some of the things they're saying, because I genuinely believe they're not saying anything new. But I think sometimes women need to hear it. So whoever is telling them, let them say it over and over and over again. And if as a woman you choose to part with your money to hear a message that's always been said, it's your money to part with.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question. As I've said, they're in this good-looking package. Do you think that the outward packaging is actually a factor for the success of these men?
Of course it is. Who's going to take advice from somebody who's not at least slightly? It's marketing. It needs to look good.
Right.
I think it's even a lot to do with the looks and the charisma as well.
Yeah.
They're all very charismatic. They know how to speak. They know how
with nice teeth.
Yeah, they know how to work the audience up. It's almost sorry to anybody, it's almost church-like when you think about it. It's like you get the audience going, you give them
It's part of selling a dream, right?
Yeah.
So basically it's men and women who are in the selling business. Let's not So you will package yourself to be, I'm a good looking guy. If you want a good looking guy like me, here's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Or here's what a good looking guy like me wants. So it's selling this illusion, which does not exist in reality.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it's tapping into people's insecurity of, and into people's needs and wishes, which is unfortunate, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah. But how do you say, you've just made a point that you said it's selling an illusion. But I would imagine, I think some of them actually have good advice, right? Because surely
they do. Even Derek Jackson, he had good stuff, but you have to separate the man from the message almost. And I don't know. I think
Keysha said it. There's certain things that you know already. you know it already, right? If it looks too good to be true, it probably isn't true. Isn't true.
Yeah.
So women are not stupid. You can tell when a guy is good or not. Somebody said it. If a guy likes you, if he doesn't like you, you will be confused. So it is.
Yeah, but why do you think
so not many stupid, women? But some women are in a very, very vulnerable position. So I know we're not mentioning that particular dating coach, and I'm not going to mention him, but he targets women over 30, and he is so horrible to them, so toxic. The message is like, you're 34, your life is over. You have to be a certain way. And it's
who gave him the audience, though? The women.
Exactly. But imagine you are 34. Your mother is saying, go and get married. Your father is saying, go. Let's not forget that we've reached the stage where we're like, well, okay, some women are not there yet. So all that message, I see this man saying, I can help you find a man. And he sits there and insults them. And I, to be honest, I'm also going, why are you sitting here listening to this man insult you? I still don't get that myself.
Yeah. So my question,
kind of man, why does he have an audience? I don't understand.
So that's the question I was going to put to you guys. Why do you think women still flock to these? Well, I'm talking about women flocking to these relationship or dating coaches. Now, why do you think, even though, as Crystal mentioned, one of them is like super toxic, why do we think other women still go to him?
It's because we're
vulnerable.
Insecure.
We want to find a relationship.
Yeah.
We think men know the minds of men better than we do. That's it.
It's tapping into insecurities and vulnerability. Some people are just very, very good at tapping into those securities, knowing that women of a certain age with a certain background are facing all these pressures, and it taps into women who are in that situation. And a lot of women are.
Yeah.
Not realizing that you're fine by yourself until you discover that. If you feel like you need somebody to complete you, that is a very intoxicating message that, all I need to do is X, Y, Z, and Mr. Right will drop into my house. That is very intoxicating package.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes me just feel...
Can I just say...
Okay, sorry, Crystal, you go first.
Sorry, can I just say that that's one of the reasons I like Matthew Hussey, because he tends to try to work on you rather than saying, I'm going to give you this and this and this and this and that. And that's why I was drawn to him, because he works on, you have to love yourself. You have to work on yourself. And finding a man is not going to make you happy. But some people don't sell that to you. They're like, you have to find a man and then your life will be complete.
Or complete.
Which is not true.
Yeah. Keysha, what were you going to say?
What I was going to say is, I still honestly believe that we women need to start taking responsibility. Once you hit your 20s and you start learning and growing, if you need these guys to help you learn and grow, fine. But if you're almost 30 and you're still seeking external validation, there are steps and there's help out there that you can find that will help you do that. I'm not sure a dating coach would.
Yeah,
but that's
I think
my
you're
opinion.
Oversimplifying it. In an ideal world, that should be it. But in reality, for me, for instance, what I know as a 29-year-old woman today is very different.
Did you call yourself 29?
Let her own it. Let her own it.
She can be however old she wants to be.
A second of silence so I can respond properly. You called yourself.
No, I'm the queen of this episode. You can respond on your episode. I put my foot down as the supreme leader of this episode.
I would do it one more time.
Order.
I also want to add one thing, that we're all on different stages of this journey. Some of us get there in our 20s, some in our Listen, the last toxic guy who was live, there was a 50-year-old woman was his client. A 50-year-old woman. And he was saying all these horrible things. And she was like, but I'm 50. And he was like, no, you're different. So think about it. They're 50-year-old women still going to these things. Everyone's journey is totally
very different. Yeah. So to wrap this up, I just have one question for you guys. Why should, I know my answer, but why do you think single women should or should not take advice from men out of our dating bracket or age brackets? So the example is this 50-year-old woman taking advice from a 30-year-old man.
28-year-old boy.
Exactly. You're in different paths of life, different age ranges, different friendship and career groups, I would imagine. Do you think that should be done or not?
I think you shouldn't.
Keysha?
I don't think you should.
Doesn't it depend on the life experience for both people? I don't know.
What life experience does a 28-year-old boy have for a 50-year-old woman? This boy was saying, by the time you reach 30, your life is over. So what advice are you giving me?
But she's still the one that went to him.
Exactly, I know. But
we're just saying, no, you shouldn't. She went to him. She shouldn't have.
Yeah, I'd imagine, my own takeaway before I come to you, Ribi, would be, if I'm a 50-year-old single woman, ideally I would be looking for a dating coach within my age range, because the kind of man that I would think I'd want as a 50-year-old would be very different from the kind of man I would have wanted when I was 30 or 20.
Ribi, I would agree with you, Rasheeda. I think, you want... So while you don't want age to be the defining factor where you take advice, it's got to be experience. It's very unlikely that the 28-year-old will be able to relate to your life as a 50-year-old single woman. So you want to find someone who can relate to your situation, who understands your situation before you take advice. And on taking advice is like a present. You can take it. You don't have to use it. You can choose to return it.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say onto this before we move on would be, for me personally, I'm very, very averse to anything celebrity or out there. So if I was going to get a dating coach, get somebody low key who could relate to me on one-on-one. I would shy away from these super famous influencer kind of dating coaches, because I would imagine that, maybe it's just me generalizing, but I think that their influencer status would have elevated their self-importance. Maybe I'm just being terrible now.
And probably can't afford them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So because for some of them, there was one I used to follow on Instagram one day, and that was the day I was just like, okay, this guy has lost his mind. One day he just put up a post, I'm going to start deleting ghost followers. If you look at my content and you just like and you don't comment on it, then you're not a good follower. I'm removing you. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? As in, I get you have lots of followers, there are lots of women and elevating the Black Queen, but where do you come off? As in, it's these followers liking your content that are making you important. What he should have done was like, guys, I know you're liking the content. How about let's engage more in the comments, not threatening to remove people. But hey, anyway, let's move on. Let's go into the What's Annoying Rasheeda room. Do you guys want to come with me? Yes, you do. Yes, anyway, I'm the supreme leader today, so I'll tell you guys what we're talking about.
What's annoying you this week, Rasheeda?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not just this week. It's been annoying me for 2 weeks, I think. But I just decided I'm going to talk about it today. This would be relevant to our British listeners. There was a report by the Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities that was recently done in the UK. And it finally concluded, drum roll, that UK had a system that was no longer rigged against minorities. It concluded that the family structure and social class had a bigger impact than race. It also stated that the UK, even though it's not a post-racial country, but it's been successful in removing race-based disparity in education and I think to a small extent, the economy. And the UK should be regarded as a model for white majority countries. In other words, systemic racism and inequalities no longer exist in the UK. And I mean, for me, when I read that, I was so mad. I think it was published on April Fool's Day, and people were just joking that this has to be an April Fool's joke. Because for me, two things is it's just somehow simplified the whole UK system, saying, well, it's not race that is causing inequality, it's families and individuals. But guess what? These families and individuals belong to a race. And 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, these families, because of their race, were held back in the UK, prevented from getting the good jobs, living in nice areas, and being able to assimilate in the society. So now 50, 60 years in the future, you're now saying, well, race doesn't count anymore. And that just boils my blood. What do you guys think? Is UK really, really, really no longer a racist, or does it no longer racist and should be a model for white majority countries?
I don't know who did that report, but that person is smoking something. I don't know what the hell they're smoking, because we all know this isn't true. Yeah. But obviously this country loves to gaslight us. So it's just us being gaslit again by the government. That's all I have to say. Because if I sit down and start talking, I'll talk till tomorrow. And it's also very heartbreaking as well. But that's what I have to say.
Yeah.
My blood was boiling. I was livid. I actually thought it was April Fool's. So I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Someone's gone to a lot of energy to do this thing. And then I realized it was not April Fool's. I actually thought it was really true. And I was at first I was upset. And then I got really, really angry that this is another blow for any person of color working in corporate UK or living in this country, that now you have something that white folk can play and say, see, officially, there is no institutional racism. Here's something that they can throw in your faces to say, no, all the stuff that you've been talking about. See, I got an A+ in my exam. I passed. We're not racist again. I mean, this is just throwing us back into the dark ages. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. I can't even begin to express how annoyed I am. I've already been called into meetings at work to get my perspective of this. And I'm like, I don't even have the energy to get started on this. It's just really disappointing. Mm-hmm. And it really is going to make our work harder to bring, actual inclusion into the workplace. It's really setting us back.
Yeah. Keysha?
I found this whole situation so emotional. It had Black Twitter and Instagram in an uproar, and all I'll say is, because Rapid Fire has gone, is I ditto what both Ribi and Crystal have said. They're gaslighting us. They're doing what they usually do. We had a whole summer last year where we were protesting exactly this kind of shit, only for them to actually do an official government report, literally slapping us in the face, left, right, and center, saying, whatever, this is what we're doing right now. Yeah. And the fact that we've protested, they've done reports, the ONS statistics are there proving otherwise, yet they still have the audacity to use taxpayer money to put this shit out into the world.
Keysha, let me interrupt quickly. If I remember correctly, I think the head of the commission was a Black man.
Well, don't look. I don't care. That means absolutely nothing to me. Just because you are a Black man does not mean that you are properly educated in racial issues or you are affected by it directly. Everybody has different experiences. That guy is a figurehead. And I don't know how he got involved in it, but like I'm not even interested in him right now. I'm interested in the fact that the report has been published, it's been put out into the ether. My taxpayer money funded that. Even after all that was said, quote unquote, trying to support us last summer, even after the statistics were brought out saying this is actually what is happening, this shit is real, somebody published a report saying, oh yeah, nothing to see here. I think that's unacceptable. Yeah. And if that report is not cancelled, look, let's just be very aware that we Black people living in the UK, they have given us an answer to the questions and the changes we wanted and raised last year. They have told us where they stand. So look,
on that note, I thank you, Keysha.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. We were about to start burning the room down, and I need this room for further episodes. So thank you. So can we go to rapid fire now? This should be very easy. This is a question to you guys, and I'll ask it in the order Crystal, Keysha, Ribi. We spent quite a lot of time talking about Derek Jackson today. So my question is, should he be cancelled forever? And if he had apologized humbly and not talked about himself in third person, he came hat in hand, is that the right word? And said, I'm sorry, I'm human, Should we have, well, for me, I don't think I'll forgive him, but hey, should he be cancelled forever? Yes or no?
Cancelled forever. But in your thing, you said if he had apologized humbly. I think if he had, maybe there would be some redeeming grace for him. But currently cancelled. And I'm not about cancel culture, really, but that guy.
Keysha?
I'm not about cancel culture. I don't, you know what? The guy's just trying to make his money. We on social media are allowing him to do that. He crazy. I think everybody knows he's crazy. And if you don't know he's crazy, well, that's up to you. So,
Thank you. Ribi?
If we say he apologized humbly, I mean, I do believe people can make mistakes. I don't think he should be cancelled, but then people are free to decide if they want to support him or not.
Oh, yeah, he has a new book, apparently.
50% off.
Yeah. So for me, with the apology as it is now, cancelled forever. But if he had come humbly and brought himself like a humble man, maybe I could have forgiven him. I'd never spend any money on any of his content. I never did anyway, but even if I did, I'd never spend any more money on him. But since he hadn't, and yeah, cancelled forever. Anyway, that's the episode today. Thank you, ladies. I will quote something from one of my favorite things. I don't even know if it's a YouTube song or anything. So there's this guy, Buzz Luhrmann, and it's called the Everybody's Free. So it's that wear sunscreen thing. Do you know that thing?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. So the quote I'll just take from it, as in I've taken just a little bit for it, is be careful whose advice you buy, but patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off and painting over the ugly parts and recycling it for more than it's worth. I mean, it's left to you guys or everyone else if you decide to follow and be loyal to any of this Insta or YouTube dating coaches. Just be careful, choose wisely, as I've always said, and remember that everyone is human and is susceptible to failure. Perhaps would be less harsh on them when they fail if in the first instance they showed their human sides and did not sit too high on their high horses, but who knows? Oh, guys, one last thing. Do you remember, I don't know if we've talked about it on any of the episodes, but May the 12th will be our 1 year podiversary.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And to celebrate our wonderful, wonderful listeners and supporters, we're giving away 3 special prizes. And you need to check our social media for the entry rules. And for those who are not on social media, review us on Apple Podcast and email us a screenshot at singletalkspodcast@gmail.com. The last entry will be at 12 a.m. on the 11th of May. Winners will be announced on the 12th of May. For those who are interested, there are 3 prizes. One, it's a voucher to buy anything from our lovely collaborator, Kutz Creations. The second one is a book by Jen Sincero. And the third one is a 1-hour coaching session with SJ, who's the founder of Soulfully Single. So check out our social media for more information on how to be a part of this podiversary. For me, it's been an amazing journey that has been made even better by these 3 amazing women I podcast with every week. Aww. I don't say it often. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'm not sure I could have done it with anybody else but you 3.
Oh, that's the sweetest.
Same I know, here. Right?
Same here. Same here.
Yeah, cool. So thank you everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Like us, rate us on Apple Podcasts and anywhere you listen. Until next time, it's your homegirl Rasheeda saying thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Single podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Would love to hear from you, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the handle @TalkingSinglePodcast. You can also send us comments or questions with the hashtag #TalkingSinglePodcast. We are downloadable on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review, and of course share with your family and friends. Take care. See you next week. Same time, same place.